Hey, amazing only child mums. I'm FOA Comment, your part-time working mum friend who loves Yahweh, family, and fun. Welcome to the family of one, where we share joys and adventures of raising an only child. Expect relatable stories, parenting laughs, and faith-filled tips. Let's make small family life enjoyable. Woo! Welcome back. I am so glad that you're here. In this episode, I'm going to talk about, do you like worms, or have you been to a car sales place? Why? It's because I was going through my cell phone and I saw some pictures pop up, and we had a field trip when I was organizing field trips for Little Local Adventures. Now, for those who had just started listening, you're like, what was that? Little Local Adventures. It was a group of, this group was made up of stay at home parents. It also had grandparents, and we had some parents who had their children at preschool. So I had a mixture of all sorts of families. And at that time, when Olivia was uh, 2.5, maybe 3 and up, I had organized a variety of field trips. So the group grew a lot. And as this group was growing, I was looking for just a variety of places that I could take families to just explore and learn, as you do, about the community that you live in. And one of the places that I was lucky enough to come across was a worm farm. And how that came about, I think I was just Googling just some of the things in our community. So that's tip number one. You want to find out what is available. Look at your what's going on in the community, or ask other people, or on Facebook, or maybe there might be someone who knows of a person that has an interesting farm. So we went to a worm farm. And what was cool about this worm farm, for example, I think they had 49,000 worms, or maybe it was like 80. It was like, oh, it was a lot. It was a lot, thousands and the thousands of worms. And when we went to go and visit this farm, they had these worms, and I think they put it all in these buckets, and then eventually what they did, they took their worms out and then they planted it. They put the worms, they spread it on their farm, on their land. But they told us the reason why they do this and what type of soil. It wasn't any type of soil. It was a specific worm, and how they looked after their worms, and then also what they did with the fertilizer, and how they sold. Once they got the soil, they would bag it from start. So it was really good. You got to see the process from start to finish. And funny enough, I think I did like 2 or 3 field trips within that month. And it was so interesting because, one, like again, I had to ask the owner, is there a bathroom? That's a big tip. If you're organizing field trips for little ones, always ask, is there a bathroom that you can use just for emergencies? Because we all know sometimes, when you tell your child, hey, you need to go to the bathroom, and they're like, yep. Or if you're like me, I need to go to the bathroom, even though I just went to the bathroom. That's a good tip. 2, and see, when I was organizing this field trip, at that time, Olivia didn't need a stroller, but I had a mom, and she had twins, and she asked me, look, can my stroller, am I able to push it around the farm? And it's a double wide. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I didn't know, because I'm just kind of catering it to what I need. So these are another good tip. If you are, you have families, it's always good to ask just be aware of what some of the needs are, and just to make sure that at least you have a tick box. So if a mom is able to have a stroller there, that's good. If not, you would just let her know, hey, I don't have, you don't have room to bring your double wide, your stroller or whatever. It'd be best if you're going to attend this field trip, this outing, to bring another person and another adult with you so you have someone to help you. And so the worm farm, that was awesome. And I always try and make the trip at least 40 minutes, an hour tops. So it starts and then it finishes within the hour. Any longer, I felt like for my little ones and my families, it was too long. And one thing, because everyone has different, nap times and got different routines. So what worked for me is one bathroom, two strollers, access, three, the time frame, 40 minutes to an hour, and four, I didn't always, I made sure the numbers, what my magic number for me was 10. Is either 10 to 12 people all together. Any more, then I find out that too many people, it's hard for children. Maybe they want to ask questions, or parents. And if you have too many beyond that, someone might not get their question in, or they might want to keep asking certain questions. They just need more time to process. So you want to for me, it worked out smaller groups. 10 is the most I had per group, or 12 was pushing it for majority of my field trips. And so it was really got nice. And I like the hands on. I'm using all our senses. So when the lady explained it, she just didn't talk about the worms. I went to one field trip. Oh my goodness. And we're at this farm, and lovely lady, but she held up a picture of a cat and also held up a picture of a dog. Now it was a farm, and she had a cat, and she could have brought her cat along. And she's talking to us, and then she was like, okay, here's a picture of a cat. How many legs does a cat have? Does anyone know what a cat is? And we're like, it would have been best if you just point to the cat that's behind you, or even brought your cat along instead of holding up pictures. Because I find out with children, if you have the real thing, like if you have a cow, show us the cow instead of like having a picture of a cow. It goes a lot further, and the kids don't get distracted. And if they talk too long, we're all going to get bored. And I was like, oh my goodness. But this is one of the first field trips. So usually as another one as well, this worked for me. So if you are organizing field trips for your friends, or even just for your family, I always had a group of, and I would call them my test group. So, which means is I would take my families, my core test group, and then we would run the program first. And that way, when I introduce it to the larger groups, as I brought on more the second and third or fourth group, I've already worked out the kinks with the first group. And that gave me time, because usually when I explain it to the teacher or to the organizer, to the person who we're having the field trip with, what I say and then what they say sometimes is just a misinterpretation of that conversation. And also I'm like, that's not what I meant. So by the time I brought in the second, third or fourth group, I've already got those kinks out. And sometimes like the bathroom breaks, or maybe an activity ran way too long. And so when the second group came in, we made it shorter, or we needed to make it longer, or something else. So that why it was best if, for me, when I'm running something, especially with families and little ones, and if I have more than, I think like the biggest time, I had about, I don't know, 80 people, and I did little pockets of groups. I just had a group of 10 people first, and that way it was a lot more smoother you know, um, it was a lot more happier. experience as the more groups. But here's the thing, when I first started doing this, right, because I was the one running it, I would have to go to the second time, the third time, and fourth time, and those were funny because Olivia, she was like, the second, depending on what the field trip is, if we're going the second time, third time, fourth time, she's like, no, I've seen it, I've experienced it, I'm done with it, and sometimes I'll be like, oh my goodness. She'll be like, I don't want to go, which was right. So then I end up booking for the family. And I said, look, you guys will need to go by yourself. Everything is all set up for you. But yeah, my child, and really, who wants to go 4 times to the same place unless it's like something like for me, if I'm going to go visit that place 4 times once a week, it better be a buffet. Something that I can eat really good food. So, yeah, that was hilarious. So, with the worm farm, it was awesome. So, when we came onto the property, they talked about the type of worms. And I don't know why it's called a midnight. Was it a midnight worm? I don't know, but some fancy name. It was really good. But they're like not your worms that you would find in your garden. There was a specific worm. Maybe did they import it for somewhere else? I don't know. But then they gave the worms. They put it in this machine, and it kind of like sift out the dirt, and then you could pick up the worm. Ooh, and to touch that worm and all the kids, it was hilarious. Everyone getting their worms out from their buckets, and then you're carefully tra- transporting that worm into another bucket, putting dirt on it, and then you're learning about the worm. So it was really good just getting that hands on. And then another experience is the car sales. It was it was hilarious because there was one car dealership. I don't know what it was. I can't remember. Maybe it was Ford. Maybe. But it was a local car dealership. And I was thinking, maybe I could call if we can come and have a field trip. And you're wondering, a field trip at a car dealership? What? So they kind of said the same thing. And I said, well, some of our families, well, actually, I asked all my families, have you been into this car dealership? And they said no. And I was like, well, why don't we go in and learn about the different types of vehicles? And if there is certain cars that our kids can go, touch, smell, you know, try, put the seatbelt on, and we can learn about um, how they change the tire and things like that. Go into the in the garage. Is it the I don't know. The place where they fix the cars. You would think I would know this stuff. Anyhow, so it was really good. And I only did that one time. I didn't go twice. Some field trips you got to know you can't do it twice because one, they, they have staff and they're not always going to have that. If you're a big group like me, you can only do it one time. So it was really interesting and it was really good too. So they did like little packets of, they put like little juice boxes and a candy and some fruit snacks for the kids when it was time to leave. But I think the daughter of the person who owned the car dealership, she came out and she talked about the different types of cars. But as she was talking, they did allow the children to go in the cars and just, they're really nice. I mean, some of the kids, they were like, really they weren't jumping up and down, but I was like, oh my goodness. They let the kids go in and out, sit at the back, touch the steering wheel. They were really good. They said, that's okay. We purposely had certain cars out so the kids and the families could really feel like it's their car, which was so good. I mean, they were very hospitable, which impressed my families. Did they buy a car that day? But no. But here's the thing. It gave them like a positive experience where if you're going to buy a car because of the kindness and because of how they were treating the families, I'm sure they're like, I remember I had that positive experience at the car dealership. If I want a car or know someone or if they want a particular brand, I'm going to refer them to this car dealership. So they're really super cool. And they didn't rush. And so there were other families there. And it was popular with the dads. A lot of dads showed up in this one. And also, there was like a motorcycle shop. And I asked the dads about that one as well. We had some, and that was a good day. Yeah. They let okay, I'll just stick with the car. So then when we are all inside and we got to see the cars inside, they took us to the place where they fix it, like the shop at the back. Now, we couldn't go too close, but they did sit all the children and the parents just to the side, and then they would explain the different tools that they use to fix the cars. So that was really cool just to see, the car go up on the lift, and then the mechanic spoke to the children like, hey, have you seen this before, blah blah blah, do you have any questions? And so it really sparked some of the kids like curiosity on how and what tool and why they use it, and the air compressor. It was really good. So the parents really enjoyed it, even though you wouldn't think about something taking like a car dealership a field trip. And so that also was with like the motorcycle. When I asked them, that was just I took a big group there as well. It was one group because we weren't doing it 2 or 3 times. And so what this shop did, they bought a lot of their motorcycles outside, and so the kids, when they explained to them, they put us inside the shop and they said, okay, we're going to tell you the rules. And then they explained like a helmet, and they asked questions. Has anyone been on a motorcycle before? And then they took us outside, and all the motorcycles outside, they said, as long as a parent is with a child, the child can sit on the motorcycle. And so it was awesome. A lot of parents absolutely enjoyed that. I mean, because there was such a variety, and I think with this motorcycle particular store, they make their own, like, they make their own motorcycles. And so it was just so neat to have hands on again. And that was about 40 minutes to an hour. And then they had a workshop at the back of the store, and they showed us, how they make it, and they introduced us to the people who put the motorcycles together. And then they also, it's just a curiosity of the kids and even the parents just to see them both learn and grow together. And that's what you want when you're taking or when you're organizing trips, even for yourself. I want to be curious as well, because I feel like yes, that your child is learning, but if you're like, ugh, it's like, okay, I'm ready to go. And if your child's not ready to go and you want to go, you're kind of like dragging, lagging. So if I do activities and I'm organizing it, I like to pick things that will excite me. Yeah, there's probably going to be some things I'm like, it's more for Olivia. But as I was doing this more, I really wanted to find something that would be my interest as well. And I try to look for things that we both have the same. We would be both happy to be there because we can both share, we can both talk, we can both ask questions, or even like talk to each other. Sometimes I didn't ask questions to the person that I was, on the day. I'm asking Olivia, and they'll be like, so when we come home, we will share what we learned, we will draw pictures, we will also share with my husband or share with family members. So it's like absolutely like a conversation, and it's like creates good memories. So I'm hoping when you Take simple things like a car dealership, or maybe some unique places like a worm farm, or you might have a motorcycle shop or even a bike shop. You probably have some things in your local community that okay, so we also have a hardware store where they sell things where you can like paint things like you need to fix your homes, things like where you buy stuff. It's a local store, right? You could ask the owner once again, like, what is your purpose of wanting to learn? My purpose was always one, I wanted the parents, me and Olivia, to learn and grow together and learn about the people in their community. Because one, you know, they are in your community, they have a business. And isn't it good when you're learning about people who are in your community? They might have something that you may want to purchase, or maybe something that they can help, a service that you need later on. So I always thought that's good. And two is one, you're both learning and growing and exploring together. And I feel like when you're having fun doing that and you're using all your senses, then that's great. So you might want to cater for you. So if you're thinking, I don't know what to do, I don't know where to go, I always encourage you, what do you want to learn with your child? And you just cater it to yourself and the age that your child's at in the season. And you don't have to have a big group. You can just do it with you and your child first. Or if you want to take your family and do it like that. And then if you feel like, hey, maybe I want to invite more people. And I did that because I wanted Olivia to get to know, and I wanted to have friends. Because most of my friends that they were already have children and they're stay-at-home parents, our timetable were different because their children were a lot older and Olivia was, a lot younger. And so I couldn't always meet when they wanted to meet because she was going to have a nap. And they were like elementary. They're already in school. And so they had a schedule. But my mornings were always free and I wanted to do something. And I wanted to do something fun, but I also wanted to share that experience not with just her, but with other people, so we can both make friends. So, and two, again, is there a bathroom we can use just in case? And two, what about if you're bringing other families, can they get there if they needed a pram or a trolley or stroller? Can they use it while they're there, or do they need to bring another adult? And as for the cost, I always try to make it best to, if I could get it free, just for a few dollars. If it's more than $5 or $6, it's because it's like a legit, I don't know, tour place, and you can't make it any cheaper. But I always try and find free or more affordable things first before I started asking families for money to pay for the entry fee. Yeah, so I hope that really encourages you. As you're listening, I'm going to do some more, just just share some tips on what you can do in your daily. Maybe there's even like a store. Like there might be a nail salon. Have you ever thought about, maybe I'll go into like maybe you go to a nail salon all the time. Well, maybe you can turn that into a little trip with your friends. Like, is there a time when they're not that busy? Because you don't want to go a time when they're busy and they have a lot of customers. You want to pick a time that they're available to talk, share, and your group can have fun. So maybe a nail salon, or there might be a place, I don't know what it's called, um, where they sell trees, a nursery. I don't know what they're called. We went to a place where they sell lots of different trees and plants, and you learn about all of that as well. You think with all these names I would know, right? Oh my goodness, we did so many. And then we also went to the police station as well and fire station. So, moms, I just want to continue to encouraging you that you are doing the best you can with the time that's given, with the resources you have. Remember, you are amazing, mom. You truly are. I mean, I just want to continue to encourage you when you're listening to this. When I'm saying you're the best mom for your child, I am reminding myself I am the best mom for my child. And also, it is truly when I say you are doing the best you can with the time that's given, with the resources you have. And it's always such a good reminder. Why? Because you are raising your child to be the best that they can be with the love and encouragement that that you are giving them. And as you're learning about yourself and you are teaching yourself every day and you're learning and growing to love them. Because I am doing that too. As Olivia is growing and in different seasons, I'm reminding myself I am the best mum for her. And I am learning as best as I can with the time that's given, with the resources I have. And I am just going to continue on and learn and grow about myself, about my husband, and her as well. That's a lot. And I'm okay with that. Some days are good and some days better. So that's why I wanted to encourage you. You are doing amazing. So I want to continue to just thank you for listening to the podcast, The Family of One. And also to remind you about have fun when you're doing field trips or when you're meeting people or when you're wondering, if you ever need some wonder if this would be a good field trip, please just reach out to me. I have a fan mail in, you just look for the link. I have a fan mail and just connect with me and I will definitely reach out to you. I will. If you wonder, will I? I will. And saying that as well, I just want to say thank you to those who listen to my podcast. And I just want to give a shout out to the ones who listened. This one is from Komodo, from Tokyo, and Wetong. I know I didn't say that well, from Connecticut. I just want to say to you, to the two listeners, those that listened last week, the last podcast, thank you so much. I absolutely appreciated just for your encouragement. And if you're wondering, should I do a podcast? Look, yes, you should. You should do a podcast because if I can do a podcast, you can do a podcast. And what do you talk about? Talk about something that you enjoy. And so once again, I just want to say, and these are shout out to the new listeners who listen to my podcast from Madrid, from British Columbia, and once again from Connecticut and Tokyo. Thank you so much for listening. Those are the new locations. And moms, I also am still working on, because I talked about a previous episode about how I created a book for Olivia. It was like an icebreaker book about periods. And she also had a question to me about bras. Mom, I have a question here about bras. And I was thinking, maybe I should write a book about bras, just an icebreaker. I don't know. So I'll keep you up to date. When I have my book available, I'll show a sample of it. It's still in progress. Just a sample of what my period book looks like. Maybe you'll be inspired to write your own book, icebreaker books for your child. Maybe we can share some tips. I don't know. But if you have a question, once again, about any field trips, or maybe you have a question, just want to ask me in general, yes, please reach out to me through the fan mail. I would love to help you out where I can. So, once again, thank you for the listening of the Family of One podcast. This is FOA, and I'll meet you in the next episode. Bye.